Josh George, college football. Today I'm doing my end of the season top 25 poll. This is what I think it will be at the end of 2024. So, college football top 25 preseason prediction is underway. I'm going to go in order from 1 to 25. Not necessarily the top 25 best teams because you've got your four conference champs have to be in the top four, and then 12th has to be a group of five conference champion, and you will see that in this prediction. So, without further ado, number one, Georgia. I have Georgia winning the SEC. Look, I think Carson Beck's going to have a breakout season and maybe even be in the Heisman discussion. And they have the most blue chips. Second with most blue chips, number two, Ohio State. They had the most offensive talent from the transfer portal. Guys like Will Howard and the Ole Miss running back, good team. Number three, Utah. I had them winning the Big 12. They're going to have a really good defense and a really good quarterback that can win games late, and they're going to wind up on the right side of a lot of games, so I have them number three. Number four, the Florida State Seminoles. I feel like they've been disrespected by the committee as of late, and a two-loss ACC champion, they probably wind up number four. Number five, I had them. They're a two-loss SEC team. One of those losses is in the SEC title game. I think the committee will really respect them. I have Tennessee at number five. Number six, the Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. Look, they're an independent. I think they're the best of the independents. I have them going 10-2 this season. If you watch the other videos, and I've done some schedule breakdowns of some other teams. Look, I have them as the best independents because I had Oregon State 7-5, Washington 7-5. I think UMass will only win a couple games, and then I had UConn around 6-6. Go watch my bowl predictions to learn about those other teams. But with the Fighting Irish, I have them at 10-2. I think they have a decent schedule this year. I think that defense is starting to come around. I think it's going to be a top 10 defense this year. So I have them ranked 6. 7, I have the Penn State Nittany Lions, a 10-3 team that I had losing in the Big Ten Championship if you go watch my other videos. But with Drew Allard, I think this is their year to get in the playoffs. I think the committee is really going to respect that they are a very balanced team and just can't get over the hump against Ohio State and Michigan. And then at 8, the last host team, a 10-2 SEC Missouri Tigers team, and a team that was just that close to competing for the SEC title once again. Then at 9, the Oregon Ducks. Look, Bo Nix is going to make this offense fantastic. Dan Lanning has got his guys in there at defense. This team's going to be really, really good. It's just going to be nitpicking on where they are at the end of the year because I had them 10-2. So it's really just flip a coin between them and Missouri. And I think they're going to lean towards the SEC over the Big Ten, but we'll see how deep those conferences are. 10-3 Miami is who I had at number 10. They had an extra loss in conference play. It was against a team that they'd already beaten in Florida State. So I figured they'd probably still make it into the postseason, just not as a host spot. 11, I had the Ole Miss Rebels. I have them making it in at 9-3. They've got like the third or fourth hardest schedule in the SEC. They're ranked 20th in the nation in toughest schedule. So they could be boosted over some other 9-3 SEC teams to that 11th spot and getting in to the college football playoff. Then at 12, the best group of 5 team according to all of my other predictions. If you watch all the other videos, you will see that really the best teams will be between, and you'll see on this list, Memphis, but they got a couple more losses. but they play a more difficult schedule. How does the committee see that? Boise State is really close and really in there. And then this team will have just beaten a Texas State team that will have been up there as well. I just feel like the committee, when it looks to the most balanced group of 5 conference champion, I think it will be the Appalachian State Mountaineers. So I have them at 12. 13, I have Clemson. I had them 9-3. And in the ACC, that's not quite good enough. Now, there's going to be an argument to put them in at that 11th spot. I just think they get left out. And Dabo, people are going to say, well, Dabo needs to go to the portal. They have a lot of starters back. They have a good team. Lots of returning production. But the experience you can get from the portal is huge. And then I have Iowa State. I had them losing in the conference championship game, winding up 10-3. And look, the committee may say, oh, we don't look at name tags. We don't look at brands. We don't look at anything. I have this team maybe on the cusp, maybe 11th or 12th. You get jumped by a group of 5 team, and then you lose a game, so you drop another spot. You wind up 14. A&M is a team that I had 9-3 in the SEC, and they're kind of in that next grouping of teams, but they won over Texas against Texas when I broke down their schedule. So I have Texas A&M at 15. Then at 16, I have the Longhorns. Look, the Longhorns are another 9-3 team that could get in, but I just feel like they're in this next grouping of teams. And, of course, they beat Michigan early on in the year. I think the committee will respect that head-to-head, even though I had Michigan 9-3 this year. I think they'll wind up in this group of teams. Then I think Arizona's another one of those 9-3 teams that's going to be really good, but the committee's just not going to see all that. So that I've got Arizona. So here we go. I've got 15, 16, 17, and 18 is Arizona. 19. Boise State was that next group of 5 team that I think is fighting for spot. I had them as a 2-loss team. I think the committee's going to see that, really respect kind of their body of work. They have to play Oregon State and Washington State this year on their schedule. So for a group of 5 team, it is a difficult schedule. And you could see them at 12th at the end of the year. It's really going to be nitpicking between them and Appalachian State. And I went with the team that I think the committee is more likely to go with. Anyways, Texas Tech's a 9-3 team. They're really good. I had them at 20th, and I think that their schedule, they go 9-3. Team, there's going to be a real buzz around this team. I think this Texas Tech defense is a lot better than you've seen a Texas Tech defense be since like 2007. So that's going to be huge for them. Kansas State, another 9-3 Big 12 team. I had them next. And then another group of 5 team, Conference USA champions. A team that lost in the conference championship, I had them losing to Western Kentucky. I think that's what knocks them out of the 12th spot. But I think the committee respects them enough to put them at the bottom of the top 25. Then at 23, I have Alabama. Look, Alabama is a really good 8-4 team. I think the committee's going to respect that, put them in the top 25, and they're still using that Alabama logo. So they're one of 2 8-4 teams that I had in the top 25 at the end of the year. At 24, I had 10-3 Memphis, conference champion from the American Conference. I think an American Conference team will make it into the final top 25, and it'll probably be their conference champion. And then at 25, I had the Oklahoma Sooners. Look, Venables' defense, and they have the toughest schedule, really one of the toughest 2. It's either they were Florida in the nation, and a lot of people say that they do, in fact, have the most difficult schedule. if they go 8-4 with this schedule, they're going to find themselves in the top as one of the 8-4 teams in the top 25. Of course, I had them losing to Bama, so couldn't put them above Bama. So I have them at 25. Other teams considered for the top 25, 8-4 USC, of course. 8-4 Oklahoma State, of course, will be considered for that last spot. It's just the schedule and the strength of schedule is kind of what puts them over the top. And then you might have some other Big Ten teams, other 8-4 SEC teams considered, and of course, you might have an LSU team considered for this 25th spot. I had OU beating LSU, so that's what kind of puts them in the top 25 at the end of the day, in my opinion. Okay, I'm Josh George. This was a preseason preview of what I think the final top 25 will be in college football.